Witch's Hill.
So, how's your ritual been?
Sticky.
Sticky?
Yeah.
Ooh.
My morning ritual?
Yes.
Sticky.
Oh.
Yeah.
What does your morning ritual entail?
Making beef.
Making beef?
Yeah, making beef in bed.
How do you make beef in bed? Just a low groan?
It's hard to explain. Even harder to clean up.
I can imagine. It's beef.
I don't have to imagine.
Because it's your morning ritual. Well, I'm curious, if that's your morning ritual, what's your nightly ritual?
We don't talk about that.
Oh, is it a secret ritual?
It's my yeah. Yeah, it's my secret ritual. My ritual.
Well,
My secret ritual.
yeah. Well,
I sacrifice babies in the woods.
do you?
No.
Do you want to say that again into the mic?
I want to sacrifice babies in the woods. I don't do it already, like Tim.
God damn it!
What?
Just god damn it!
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking about rituals here soon.
Yes, we are, and in
You
fact,
sick fuck. Welcome back to Witch's Hill. Yes. Tim threw out his arms like, yeah.
ooh, baby.
And we are on the second episode of Destroying the Misconceptions.
But you didn't introduce us. They're just listening to some disembodied voices right now.
Yeah, I don't
without
got a
name.
fucking body. You don't touch me anymore. I looked him dead in the eyes and said it.
It threw me off. Did you see me looking back at you like, what?
Don't say that on air. Do you really mean that?
Are you sure?
Oh, God. Spy on you, Satan.
Well, since Pat can't introduce us, that's Pat. I'm Tim.
I guess I am.
And like he said, today is our second episode of Destroying the Misconceptions. And today, we're going to be discussing Satanism.
Yeah, spooky pentagrams.
So today, we're going to be taking an in-depth look into, like I said, specifically the LaVeyan Satanism, which goes through the Satanic Bible. It's really going to kind of tell you truly what is Satanism, reading through that. Considering that the word Satanism is honestly a pretty broad subject.
How broad would you say?
I mean, well, typically Satanism is divided up into two categories, theistic and atheistic Satanism. The theistic Satanism is more viewed as like devil worshipping. Those are the people that view Satan as a legitimate supernatural being and actually worship him. Whereas, atheistic Satanism, he's... How do I describe it? Of course, as it sounds, they don't worship the devil, but they view him more as a symbolic external projection of the highest potential of each individual. Namely, it basically labels us gods of our own subjective universes.
Interesting.
Yes, it's... Yes. Just yes.
It's yes.
It is.
It is
yes.
not a no, people. You heard it here first.
Yes, Satan. You got to ask. Why embrace the label of Satanism?
Boy, howdy! I sure would like to know.
I was hoping you would ask the question, but that's okay.
Oh.
LaVey actually designed it to be an adversary to existing spiritual belief systems. Considering in Hebrew, Satan is defined as adversary or opposer, which you would recognize from the Wicca episode. He pretty much steered into the skid on this one.
Yeah.
This actually was the first organized church dedicated to Satan. It was created in 1966 on the traditional Wicca Sabbath, Beltane. Ooh, you would recognize that. It's actually May Day. He created it because he claimed, with very few exceptions, every tract and paper, every secret grimoire, all the great works on the subject of magic are nothing more than sanctimonious fraud, guilt-ridden ramblings, and esoteric gibberish by chronicles of magical lore, unable or unwilling to present an objective view on the subject. I just kind of got more intense and into the
Yeah, holy
characters.
shit. Brought out your Doug Bradley into that.
It's going to keep going. I am reading directly from the Satanic Bible right now. Let me get back into the character.
I will just say this, just a little side note, that he did not fucking help the whole, the movement of Wicca being, distant from just Satanism and witchcraft. That motherfucker just, I'm going to put my dick back in there.
Yes, as I can say right now, as I've been doing the research into this, I've shared little tidbits with Pat on what I've been reading, and he's not happy with LaVey.
Anton LaVey is a fucking cunt.
Well, he's been dead for 19 years.
Yeah, he's dead and gone. I win.
Okay, back into character. I'm a fucking dick. Writer after writer, in efforts to state the principles of white and black magic, has succeeded instead in clouding the entire issue so badly that the would-be student of sorcery ends up stupidly pushing a planchette over a Ouija board, standing inside a pentagram waiting for a demon to present itself, limply tossing I Ching yarrow stalks like so many stale pretzels, shuffling pasteboards to foretell a future which has lost any meaning, attending seminars guaranteed to flatten his ego while doing the same to his wallet, and I lost my place. Damn it, I was on a roll.
Oh my, I was so flustered.
And in general making a gibberish fool of himself in the eyes of those who know.
Wow.
Yeah, that was intense. I'm proud of my reading there until I got lost.
And that whole fucking thing about white and black magic.
I'm going to get into that in a little bit. I'm going to ask Pat, because I know this leads into what made you mad, so please hold all your comments until we get to that section.
I will try.
We will get to it. In fact, I'm going to have you read some of it. I'm sorry.
I hate this guy. I hate him so much.
So why don't we break into the Satanic Bible itself? It actually opens up with the 9 satanic statements, and those I am going to have Pat read.
Fuck.
As I number them off, go ahead and read them. Number 1.
Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. I read it away from the mic.
Number 2.
Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams.
Number 3.
Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical or
self-deceit. Self-deceit. I looked at 3 other things at the same time. I was like, oh no.
Number 4.
Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates.
Number 5.
Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek.
Number 6.
Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires.
Number 7.
Satan
represents a lot of fucking shit. Jesus Christ.
I said 9.
Number 7.
Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because of this
divine, spiritual, and intellectual development,
has become the most vicious animal of all.
Number 8.
Satan represents all of the so-called sins, as they all lead to physical, mental, and emotional gratification.
Number 9.
Satan has... Spy on you, Satan. Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, as he has kept it in his business all these years.
Holy fuck, really?
That's everything that Satan stands for.
Satan's a dick.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude.
So that's the opening. From there, it moves into the first actual book of the Bible, which is the Book of Satan, the element of fire. Oh, go figure.
Ooh, fire.
Yeah.
Fire, fire, fire.
Now, this section is namely a statement of what might be termed as he said, diabolical indignation.
Ooh.
It's a hard one to say. Or it's basically a way for Satan to really speak on level ground with the church.
Hey guys, I got something to say.
You guys listen to me?
Oh God, fine, Satan. What?
It starts by breaking down the hypocrisy of the church. I'm just gonna say right now, before I continue, there's certain sections of this book that I will be skimming over. There is some stuff, specific stuff that I just don't feel I want to share on the air.
Yeah, we're not necessarily uncomfortable, but
I don't feel like telling people how to do this stuff.
yeah, like if you want to look into it on your own. It's not going to be on us.
Yes. I'm going to tell you what's in here because I know the truth, but you want the details, look into it your fucking self.
Yeah.
Now, it goes on, it says, he calls out the false prophets of the past who have inverted right and wrong, good and evil. States that you should question everything and to be slow in believing anything and everything. For belief in one false principle is the beginning of all unwisdom.
Keep note of that. Keep note of that.
I feel like that's an important thing, honestly.
In this entire thing, from what you've told me, that is just unbelievably hypocritical. From some future stuff, but sorry. I'll hold my tongue.
No, he also claims, as the environment changes, so should human ideals. You should return blow for blow with your enemy, basically fight back for yourself, for he who turns the other cheek is a cowardly dog. He likes to use a lot of those kind of words. You should live in the present and make the most of life, here and now. That there is no heaven of glory bright or hell where sinners roast. Basically, you are your own good god or devil, the choice of which you choose to act on is entirely up to you. That's summarized. That's the entire first book of the Bible, the Satanic Bible. I felt I had to clarify.
The more you know.
The more you know.
I wish we had some like chimes.
Ding dong, ding. After that section comes the next one. And this is the book of Lucifer, the element air. Now, this section moves through the Satanist viewpoints on various topics. And these topics are so varied that I'm going to be jumping to most only briefly to kind of just hit the key points of this. And if I can be honest, this section, the book of Lucifer, was the hardest to get through. To me, it seemed that LaVey jumped around thoughts in various chapters, sometimes starting on one topic, but jumping to a completely different thing after a few paragraphs. I know I actually found myself rereading many chapters just so I could actually understand what he was saying. It was hard. I came to you many times just like, oh, I gotta go through this part again.
Yeah, you did.
It was, God, I don't even know how many times I've reread this section. I was even going through it today just trying to highlight anything I could and be like, okay.
He's not a wordsmith.
No, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
Ooh. Ooh, Satan, damn.
Now, from the beginning, he constantly refers to churchgoers as members of the right-hand path, which I find very misleading.
Very.
To quickly go into it, because I know some people have probably heard that term, the right-hand path, the left-hand path. Mm-hmm. The term right-hand path and left-hand path basically is a way to define the different approaches to magic.
Yeah.
Typically, left hand is equated with black magic, and the right hand is equated with white magic.
And just, like, depending on your faith system and shit like that, there's really no difference between white and black magic. It's just how you use it. There's no fucking like white mage that's gonna go out and heal something, and then a black mage is like supposed to, you know.
Yeah, this isn't
summon something.
This isn't World of Warcraft.
It's not Final Fantasy.
No, it's not. This isn't a fucking video game. But I found that very misleading for the simple fact that now I kind of see both angles of this. In calling the majority of churchgoers members of the right-hand path, you're basically saying that they're followers of magic, which is completely wrong because you mention anything magic. Okay, time for a little reveal to our audience. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness.
It's true. I saw it.
Yes, and which is funny. If you know what I look like, if you're hearing this and this is what I'm researching, you're going to be like, wait, what? Yeah, it was an interesting childhood.
Corey from Boy Meets World.
I'll still allow it. I can laugh at it now. I have dreadlocks to my ass. So.
Oh, you fucking hated me when I first brought that up. You're like, don't say that.
Because I was mad. I couldn't do anything about it.
I was like, oh, shit.
Because of the religion, I had to keep my hair cut short.
It happens.
Yeah. I was stuck looking like, Boy Meets World?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Corey Feldman?
I think so.
Uh-oh.
But, going back to the whole labeling churchgoers as the members of the right-hand path, you know, they go against magic. They go against everything with magic. You bring up magic to anyone in most churches, and they're just going to immediately like, oh, no, that's bad. That's wrong. You can't do this. I've had friends, when I was a kid, I was playing Legend of Zelda for the Game Boy. And, you know, one of the tools you have is magic powder. Mm-hmm. And I was teaching my friend how to play it in his mom's car as she was driving us to his house. And she immediately like, I don't want you playing that game in my house. Nothing with magic. That's evil. And I was just like, are you kidding me?
Jesus Christ.
So because of that, I feel like it's wrong to say that churchgoers are the members of the right-hand path. However, on that same subject, the more I look into magic itself, like real magic, the more I realize that church basically is ritual.
Yeah.
Like the Passover, that is a fucking ritual that you are performing. You are passing something that's you're passing symbolized items that are supposed to mean blood and flesh.
You know, when like in churches when they have like the choirs and everything, they're singing songs for God, praising God and shit like that. And that is essentially the same thing as magic, like what they were doing back in the day when they were all the pagans would go out into the fields. They'd sing songs, dance, and you know, that's where the whole fucking stigma about them flying around on their brooms came from.
Yes.
But it is literally the same thing. And as you can hear behind us, the zombie apocalypse has started.
Either that or they don't want us saying this.
And they're like, that's against God.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, it really is. So I guess I see both sides to that point. Because, I mean, also, what is prayer but... It's you're performing magic right there.
Essentially, yeah.
It's a private, personalized ritual that you are performing to talk to a higher being. That
exactly.
You are performing magic.
Yeah, but nobody likes to look at that because it's taboo and
exactly
they feel like it's dirty or it's sullied in some fucking way. And it's like, dude, you were so blindsided to everything that you're doing. You're polishing a shit and then calling it a fucking diamond. It's the same fucking thing. I'm not calling anything shit, but it's just. That's what everybody says, you know. You can't polish a turd and call it something else.
Oh, it's not magic. I'm praying. It's the same fucking thing. You just called it something different.
Exactly.
The Passover. You're performing a ritual. Oh no, it's the memorial. No, it's the same fucking thing, buddy. You're just calling it something different.
Digimon, Pokemon.
So, I'm going to be, and for the rest of this section, to move on, I'm going to be it's going to seem like I'm jumping topics, but like I said, I'm just going to be kind of hitting some of the key points that he goes through, because some of the chapters in this section are really fucking short. Some of them were, 8 pages long. So the next, he started talking about the topic of the 7 deadly sins. Now, he advocates indulging in each one as they all lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification. And this is what LaVey claims to be the church's greatest sin, basically the denial of mankind's basest instincts, and has furthermore locked everyone into a system of control, because everyone's afraid of constantly sinning.
Mm-hmm.
You masturbate, you're a sinner.
Mm-hmm.
You look at someone and think the wrong thoughts, you're a sinner. The church set up a system to basically keep everyone perpetually sinning, so they constantly have to keep coming back for forgiveness.
And as we've learned in the previous episode is that sinning never meant like going against God. You're just not following the same path as like God or Jesus was trying to explain. Like you walk in my footsteps. Don't praise me. Walk in my fucking footsteps. Be a good person.
Well, see
this.
Sorry to cut you off, but that's where I find another issue because. Okay, the churches are going to say walk in Jesus' footsteps. All right, well, Jesus just talked about love. He didn't talk about anything else. So, in my opinion, live your life with love. That's walking in Jesus' footsteps. You don't need to go to church. You don't need to do this or that or pray to this or do that thing. No, just be a decent person to everyone around you. Don't act on hate, act on love. And you're walking in Jesus' footsteps.
Yeah, wise men.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
I've always found that. I've brought that up to many different church-going people, and no one really has an answer for me. They just get mad and change the subject.
Yeah, because they don't want to question anything that they believe in. They'd rather stick with what they want to know because it makes them feel comfortable, which is natural. But at the same time, you're shutting out other people and indirectly oppressing people, too.
Yes. You don't have to be... If you believe... Whatever you believe... If you think you're right, cool. Good for fucking you. I'm glad you found something that you feel is right. However, just because what's right for you does not mean it's right for someone else.
Exactly.
What's the term? What is normal for the spider is chaos to the fly. Mm-hmm. So everyone's differently, and everyone's going to walk a different path.
Exactly.
Don't be a haughty asshole that you have all the answers somehow miraculously. We've been here thousands upon thousands of years, but miraculously...
Well, depending, I guess, on your faith system. But
somehow you have all the right answers. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I'm not all about that.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm right, not saying Anton LaVey is right, but I still view the way that he says certain things. I like to use the word cunty.
I gave you some notes. It's here somewhere. On the notes for this section, I showed it to you. At the very bottom, at the end of it, once I finally got through it, I just wrote very contradictory, very obnoxious, and underlined the fuck out of both of them.
I know. It's just... I don't know him as a person, but the way that he is being portrayed to me is that's how I view him right now.
You, the audience, you're going to understand what Pat's saying in a little bit. Now, he also states that the pagans reveled in the delights of the flesh. But they were condemned by the very same people who celebrate the rituals, like we were just saying, but call them a different name. Now, one more problem I personally have is his definition of white witchcraft. He goes further into that, and this is going to be read by Pat.
Motherfucker.
Hold on, I just want to make sure I'm having you read everything I need to.
I just want to make sure this really upsets you.
All right, so you're going to be reading.
Should I do another voice, or should I just be myself?
You know what? Roll with it. Roll with whatever feels comfortable. I want you to read this, this, and this.
Only the stuff that's highlighted?
Yes.
Oh, God damn it. Okay.
Enjoy.
Here we go, people. Here we go. Satanism differs greatly from all other so-called white witchcraft or magical groups in the world today. These self-righteous and supercilious,
I guess so,
religious protest that their members use the powers of magic only for altruistic purposes. Altruism is sinning on the layaway plan. It is unnatural not to have the desire to gain things for yourself. Okay, I'm holding my tongue.
Keep going.
White witchcraft groups say that if you curse a person, it will return to you threefold, come home to roost, or in some way boomerang back to the sender. This is yet another indication of the guilt-ridden philosophy which is held by these neo-pagan, pseudo-Christian groups. Oh my god.
Keep going.
White witches want to delve into witchcraft, but cannot divorce themselves from the stigma attached to it. Therefore, they call themselves white magicians, and base 75% of their philosophy on the right and hackneyed tenets of Christianity. Anyone who pretends to be interested in magic, or the occult for reasons other than gaining personal power, is the worst kind of hypocrite. Hold on, there's more. White magic is supposedly utilized only for good or unselfish purposes. The black magic, we are told, is used only for selfish or evil reasons. Satanism draws no such dividing line. Magic is magic, be it used to help or hinder. The magician should have the ability to decide what is just and then apply the powers to magic to attain his or her goals.
That reading of the Satanic Bible done by Pat.
What the fuck?
What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, this dumb motherfucker. I'm so glad he is dead.
You said you were going to say that.
Yes, I will fucking say it and I will scream it from the hilltops. But holy shit, dude. Okay, you want to talk about white magicians and shit? Okay, no, there's a difference between good and bad. Obviously, you would fucking know that. There is a difference between good and bad. There is a thing about right and wrong. Obviously, he's just blurring the fucking lines between it. Like, well, if you see that it's just, go for it. Go for it. If you deserve that person deserves a fucking curse, go for it. Fuck you. You have not walked that person's path at all.
He likes to basically advocate that, it's kind of what I said earlier. What is normal to the spider is chaos to the fly. Everyone's opinion of good and bad is always different.
Yeah, it's all about the narrative in which it's fucking said, and what the subject matter is all fucking about.
To me, it's. I'm actually gonna save. I'm gonna save this to later. There is something, and we're gonna touch back on this.
But okay. Here's another thing. Just to note really quick that this dumbass doesn't even have anything, not a single fucking thing noted about where he got this information from. There is nothing about paganism that is Christian, like Catholic. There is fucking nothing.
That was the other issue that I had with this section. This is one of the chapters I had to reread over and over because I could not honestly believe that he starts off saying, "Oh, all the churchgoers they're all the right-hand path," but then he lumps basically Wiccans. He doesn't name drop Wiccans specifically, but saying that magic should only be used for good, that's Wiccan.
He doesn't need to name drop it. It's already there and it's very prevalent when he starts talking about the threefold law.
Yes, he's implied it.
I remember you tell me that. The threefold law. It will come to you back in three. Boomerang back.
Yes.
It's just how people believe that certain things happen. There's always bad things that fucking happen. Normally, if you're a bad person, more bad shit fucking happens to you. So there's a fucking name for it. It's called karma. Other people apply that to the threefold law.
But the fact that he lumps Wiccans in the same category as the churchgoers, he says that Wiccans just steal stuff from Christianity.
There is nothing that is stolen from fucking Christianity.
Wicca came before Christianity.
By a long fucking time.
Yes.
25,000 years. Sorry, but that predates Jesus a lot. Like, a lot.
So it's...
Yeah. It's arrogant. It's fucking arrogant the way that he's portraying all this shit. Like, okay, yes, I understand the whole fucking, the concept of, like, defend yourself, shit like that, but, like, at the same time, you're preaching that people should just keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting until there's fucking nothing left. If you keep doing that, where is the world gonna fucking end up? If one person does not decide to not fucking shoot somebody. Here, for an example, just like a Mandela effect.
Okay.
If shit was to happen back in the Cold War, when that one blip on the fucking radar was indicating that a nuke was sent off, and there was that one Russian guy who was just like, you know what, that's a glitch. I'm not launching a nuke. He could have fucking did that and changed the entire course of everything, but he decided not to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Now, if he followed the whole fucking Anton LaVey bullshit, he would have fucking done that. Eye for an eye. Just keep fucking fighting. Nothing would ever end. That is so self-indulgent.
Yes. He touches on indulgence specifically, actually, in a little bit. We're going to get to that.
Oh, he would know a lot about that, wouldn't he? Sorry. Oh, wait, that's right. He's dead!
Oh.
He's rotting.
Oh, snap.
His neck.
Now, to clarify what Satanism really stands for, he claims that it fills the large gray void between religion and psychiatry. You know, it combines fundamentals of psychology and good, honest emotionalizing or dogma. You know, he says that there is nothing wrong with dogma, providing it is not based on ideas and actions which go completely against human nature. So from there, he switches the topic over to sex.
Ooh. That's devilish.
Now, this will be another reading from the chapter directly from the Satanic Bible. Satanism does advocate sexual freedom, but only in the true sense of the word. Free love, in the Satanic concept, means exactly that. Freedom to either be faithful to one person or to indulge your sexual desires with as many others as you feel is necessary to satisfy your particular needs. Now, Satanism does not encourage orgiastic activity or extramarital affairs for those to whom they do not come naturally. For many, it would be very unnatural or detrimental to be unfaithful to their chosen mates. To others, it would be frustrating to be bound sexually to just one person. Each person must decide for himself what form of sexual activity best suits his individual needs. Self-deceitfully forcing yourself to be adulterous or to have sex partners when not married just for the sake of proving to others that you are emancipated from sexual guilt is just as wrong by satanic standards as leaving any sexual need unfulfilled because of ingrained feelings of guilt. Satanism condones any type of sexual activity which properly satisfies your individual desires, be it heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, or even asexual if you choose. Satanism also sanctions any fetish or deviation which will enhance your sex life so long as it involves no one who does not wish to be involved. The last note that he puts in there that I wanted to read out, if you attempt, because I'm sure after everything I said, people are probably questioning like, well, there's got to be some fucking limits. There are. If you attempt to impose your sexual desires upon others who do not welcome your advances, you are infringing upon their sexual freedom. Therefore, Satanism does not advocate rape, child molesting, sexual defilement of animals, or any other form of sexual activity which entails the participation of those who are unwilling or whose innocence or naivety would allow them to be intimidated or misguided into doing something against their wishes. This is something, obviously, I think every sensible person could agree with.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That was something that I was just like, okay, yeah, I agree with this. That
should just be a basic thing.
Exactly. But I know, in a lot of churches, the whole notion is get married and, that's it. Mm-hmm. I guess with Mormons, I think it's Mormons that they can have like multiple wives or something like that. Pretty much, this truly is, from everything that I've researched on past religions, this is the one that, I would say that this religion is the most forward-thinking when it comes to sex and sexual activity in general.
How so?
Just because it's basically saying, do whatever you want. If you want to have someone piss on you, good for you. If you like to eat shit, congratulations. But hey, you rape someone, you fuck kids, you're in for a world of shit from the Satanic Church. They actually act on this.
Well, the thing is that I don't believe that any religion should be the forcing factor behind those beliefs. Like, that should just be a basic human concept. Don't fuck somebody who doesn't want to be fucked.
Yes, I agree.
Or doesn't deserve it. Like, if you do that to people, you should be fucking killed. That's my own true belief. Like, if there's any fucking child molester, fucking rapists that are listening, I hope you die. Like, it's as simple as fucking that, and I wish the worst death upon you.
One thing that I'd like to specifically bring up is you say that, like, it shouldn't, a church shouldn't be the thing that really
any
pushes that
institution.
Out. Okay, how about the fact that the new recent news that a shit ton of popes were just proved to have covered up sex scandals.
Yeah,
and
I heard about that.
They're still members of the fucking church. They were defended by the fucking pope.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's
wrong.
Fucked up. Meanwhile, in the Satanic Church, if you got caught doing those same things, you would be ousted. They would make sure that actual charges would be pressed against you.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad. But at the same time, like,
you wouldn't expect Satanism, the Satanic Church, to be the one church that actually does that, because they are. That is fact.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you would know more about it than I would. I haven't really looked all that much into it. That's your category. So
I've always just anytime I've seen those articles, I definitely read them. I've looked into that stuff, and it's just like it always just made me laugh, because it was just like, really, right now Satanists look a hell of a lot better standing than some of you other Christians or Catholics or whatever be you.
Well, it's okay. I can see where you're getting at. I'm not Christian or anything like that, but I'll take the defense of them.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say right now, I'm speaking in generalized terms. I'm not completely trashing an entire religion. There's gonna be bad apples in
everywhere.
My favorite saying: there's bad eggs in every basket. You can't. If you find one, you can't judge the whole basket by it.
And some of those eggs are deviled eggs.
Oh.
Sorry, you set that one up.
I hate deviled eggs.
All right.
Mayonnaise is gross.
I don't think about it. I didn't know it was that until somebody said it, and I spit the egg out.
It ruined it for you once you realized?
Yeah, I couldn't do this. But, okay, like, I get the whole notion about there's a lot of misconceptions going into the whole Catholicism thing. Yes, they have a long history of
child sexual abuse.
Not just that, but just fucking things up.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to diss any situational thing, but it's fact. There is once you have a large enough group, and Christianity is like the biggest fucking one on this planet.
Is it?
I don't know, but it just seems like everybody's Christian nowadays.
Yeah.
See crosses everywhere. You always see crosses everywhere. At least here in America. In Europe, it's the same fucking thing, but over there you have more. I don't want to use the word open-minded, but more differently spiritually attuned people,
culturally and spiritually diverse. Yes.
And once you have a large enough group, there's always going to be those type of people who want to have power or try to hush somebody up because of money or said power. They want to keep said power. Eventually, there's going to be somebody that fucking just tries to ruin the entire basket. Not intentionally, but they're going to use that faith system or that power or government power to fucking enhance their lives more than somebody else.
Yes.
And that's where I think a lot of these things are coming from. Because, I mean, if it's one of the biggest groups all around the planet, or at least one of them, not the, but it's a huge fucking religious group,
Yes.
So there's going to be a lot of fucking bad people, and those bad people tend to congregate together. They have their little fucking net web of everything. I mean,
subgroups.
I mean, how long was it? It was like a fucking year ago that people were talking about how there was sex trafficking out in LA with children and shit like that. People were coming forth, and it was just really fucked up that shit like that was going on, and it's just now being brought to light. And a lot of these accusations have happened from the 80s and 90s, and there's a lot of people out there well, there's statute limitations and everything. How do we know that really happened? Well, you can't fucking sit there and just deny every goddamn thing. Yes, there are those people who jump on the bandwagon, but there are also those people who have actually had those horrible fucking life-changing things happen to them. You cannot deny everybody.
I think if someone's going to come forward with something like that, you need to listen.
Exactly. And so it really comes down to a matter whether they actually did it or if certain people are fabricating these things for whatever pretense that they have.
How did we get to this topic?
Well, we were talking about how in the satanic, how they go against pedophiles and shit like that, and how Christianity has a not so good history of that.
So moving right along. Now, as I was saying earlier, you were talking about how he really condones massive amounts of indulgence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to clarify his meaning of indulgence, I'm going to actually have you read this.
Motherfucker.
Just the highlighted parts. I almost put the book right into the fucking inserts.
All right. Satanism encourages its followers to indulge in their natural desires. Only by doing so can you be a completely satisfied person with no frustrations which can be harmful to yourself and others around you. Is never created by indulging, but by not being able to indulge. By making something taboo, it only serves to intensify the desire. Everyone likes to do the things that they have been told not to do. Not true. I still don't want to drink bleach.
Yeah?
I was told not to. I won't.
Yeah, I listened.
Yeah. I don't lick my finger and put it in a fucking electrical socket. Sorry, there's one more. When a person has no proper release for his desires, if they rapidly build up and become compulsions. What? Not in everybody. Yeah, there's a fucking... It's called, what is it? Self-restraint. Yeah. Can you not fucking control yourself? Like, oh boy, I just need to fist fuck this donkey. I don't know why I used that, but let's use that.
Wow.
What if somebody had that?
I mean...
he was talking about taboo. Let's talk taboo.
Well, he specifically said that you can't fuck animals either. Bestiality was frowned upon. Did you just argue?
I'm fucking with you.
I know, but it just, my brain didn't process that. That wheel was spinning for a minute, like...
The hamster died of a heart attack. Just, what?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? No, but you get what I mean.
Yes.
Like, I can control myself. Like, if I don't want to drink that beer, I'm not going to drink that beer. No matter how much I think about it, like, yeah, I might get thirsty, but I don't want it.
It seems like he really has... it seems like he kind of advocates throwing self-restraint out the window, is what it seems like.
Yeah, just indulge. Just,
well,
what the
I mean,
fuck?
he does go on within the chapter to say that, indulge within reason.
Oh, so now there's limitations.
Well, that's some of the contradictions that I found in here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you're saying there. He actually calls life the one great indulgence and death the one great abstinence. So pretty much, you're here to live your life. Party on, Wayne.
I mean, if that's how you want to fucking view it, sure. But
yeah. Which, speaking of party, religious holidays in the Satanic Church. As far as the holidays are concerned, your birthday is held as the highest of all. Go you!
Yeah, limitations on self-indulgence, right? Sorry.
You're just going to stick on that now.
No,
after that, the next two major holidays they have is Walpurgisnacht and Halloween. The latter being held the Eve of May, which is, it's in another word, Beltane, the common witch's Sabbath. Since he does that Walpurgisnacht since this was memorialized as the night that all of the demons, specters, afrits, and banshees would come forth and hold their wild revels, symbolizing the fruition of the spring equinox. Halloween really needs no other explanation. It's Halloween. Come on.
I do have one thing that I want to bring up.
Let me say one more thing. They also celebrate basically all of the solstices and equinoxes. All right, go ahead.
Well, since we're talking about ripping off other religions...
Yeah, I was waiting for it. That's why I wanted to get that last one in there.
Let's talk about that.
Let's open this book a little.
All right, so he's calling Wiccans and anybody who goes to church on the right-handed path. Okay. Well, wrong. But the whole fact that, like, if you heard our original episode about Wicca, you know that that dates back 25,000 years. That's one of the old fucking religions. That's the forgotten religion.
Yes.
That is, like, so ancient. Now, none of that information was really put forth in writing or anything like that. The books were always passed around. That's why they're called Book of Shadows. And then, after Gerald Gardner got his hands on his Covenants one, and, he released most of the information, all that information that everybody has nowadays is mainly from that, unless you have or have had family members or people who are close to your family as a practitioner.
Okay.
Where the fuck did he get all this information? That's my question. Because if he's going off of the old Wicca way, right?
Yes.
He's getting his information from Gardner, unless that small fraction of the old practicing way was still going on, and he had some type of tie, and I mean like a legit tie to like an actual practicing member.
I will say that this could be the reason why maybe he blurs the lines of, supposedly white witchcraft. He did mention in the Satanic Bible, of course, Aleister Crowley. He was brought up in this chapter. I skipped over that because I don't feel like opening that door. Aleister Crowley was a fucked up man. I tell you info about him every now and then again, and you just give me this look like, what the fuck?
No, I know about Aleister Crowley.
Power bottom of the year? Of the century?
Okay, but that again goes back into the whole right-hand, left-hand path type thing. Like, yes. He's talking about, like, self-indulgence and how it's only used for good. Like, that's how it should be, in a way. Like, you need to have fucking restraints. There are certain things that you should not fuck with. It's just known.
Yes.
Like, whether you believe in the devil or a fucking god or whatever the hell you fucking believe in, there are certain things out there that you shouldn't fuck with. There are weird energies. There's weird fucking spots in the world that are more attuned to something that we cannot comprehend. It is proven time and time again, and it's not an isolated thing.
No.
So, with him going out and saying, like, indulge, fucking do shit only for yourself, don't have any bars on fucking anything, just do for you, essentially, but don't rape anybody. That's the only fucking okay, I get that. I get it. Have your own fucking freedom. Don't fucking rape anybody. Don't do shit like that. That is horrible.
There was so many times we were talking that I was like, I took a breath, like, and okay, I'm sorry, but he does say that he doesn't specifically say that you can't do anything for anyone, but he's pretty much just saying, look out for number one, first and most of all. That is something I kind of have a problem with. There's a lot of people in this world that do that, and to me, that kind of perpetuates that constant bullshit going on. If for just a second you did something completely selflessly for someone else, just to be like, you look like you're having a bad day. I don't know you. Let me help you. Here you go. And then you go about your day.
Yeah.
To me, that stuff is what you should be doing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I guess, it's not like he's saying don't do that stuff. But with everything that he is saying, it definitely implies that, I feel like. You know what
it really seems like? It really seems like he was just an upset little whiny kid who was just like, I just don't like religion. And he was just like a little rebellious little butt. And so
rebellious little butt.
He's a rebellious little butt. And he just fucking ran around and just got all these ideas, wrote them down, and somebody's like, you know what? You can start something here. You stole all this shit from all these other religions. So yeah, let's go against fucking Christianity shit. Okay, I get that. But do you have any idea about your own fucking history, first of all? Like, you're gonna sit there and go against neo-pagans and neo-Christians and lump that shit in together. They are fucking different. How stupid do you have to fucking be? That's like saying Irish people come from Spain.
Guys, I'm scared. He's getting too superheated.
Because it's fucking really fucking stupid. It's so goddamn stupid. He just wrote all this shit down and it's just like, yeah, let's change this, let's change this, let's change this. At least Gerald Gardner, whether fucking how far-fetched you believe that shit is the fact that he was a researcher. He did his fucking information.
Did he cite his sources?
Yes. He did, but it's also,
in a sense.
It's also kind of hard to date back and go to his coven, because this is what the information that he was getting from.
Okay.
From the book that was passed down, the one that he had from his coven. He took that and wrote all the good shit out and attuned it to the way that he believed it should have been correctly to the old Wiccan way. Because he spent his entire life studying religio-magic.
Okay.
So religion and magic, literally what Wicca is. He literally studied it for his entire life, finally found a coven, became a part of it, and then saw what they had written down and put his research and notes together with everything. And that's why I could believe that more than any other fucking religion, at least. At least from there's things that actually come up. And yes, it's influenced through man, but at least they're not trying to fucking hide it. Yeah. It's not written by God.
It's not written by some man who spoke to God.
Exactly. It's what they found out through themselves after a living.
I just want to say this. Fuck it. I don't care that it's on the air. I've taken drugs in the past and I've talked to God. Guess I'm a prophet, guys.
Oh my God.
But how many people out there could say the same thing? I've always thought that it's like, I wonder if that Moses guy or whoever other guy saw the burning bush and went up to the mountains, talked to God. I wonder if they just ended up just tripping on some fucking psychedelic that they didn't quite understand at the time, and then they just tripped balls and, guys, I spoke to God. He said this.
It's possible.
It's possible.
I mean, there's so many. It's like playing a game of telephone for a fucking century. It's like, are you really going to think that you're going to get the same fucking thing? Line up 30 people and tell me that you're going to get the exact same fucking message that you started with. That is not how it's going to go.
No, telephone, everyone knows how it goes.
Exactly. And imagine playing that for fucking centuries. Yeah. And then somewhere down the line, somebody's just like, you know what, I'm going to rewrite this because I feel like I'm more tuned to have this run my society, or this will gear people towards living the way I think that they should live because I say that God told me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying just Christianity. I'm saying all over the fucking planet. There's countless fucking religions, and so many of them preach that they're the right way.
Oh, yeah. And,
like the one and only way.
And when you really look into a lot of them, because I've spent years looking into this. I was a Jehovah's Witness until I turned 18, and as soon as I did, I never went back. Yeah. I had a big problem with just the fact that they say, oh, this is the truth. I have a big problem with that. And after that, I went to multiple different churches, be it sometimes it was because I was guilted. Mm-hmm. And I did a lot of research on my own into everything else. They all say the same fucking thing. When you really, really break down the core message, it's always the same fucking thing. They just change all the fine details to basically fit whatever part of the world that this religion started in.
And realistically, it really shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't.
What God you're praying to. It's the message that you are trying to push out. If it's peace and love, stuff like that, yeah, that's great. But there's so many that just thrive on killing one another. Like, they are the impure. They are the ones that go against God. They're heathens. They're pagans. Blah 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 blah. Like, learn your fucking history. Learn what certain words mean. Mm-hmm. Learn where your religion started from, and question things. Don't fucking sit there and blindly just like, yes, I completely believe that. Like, I've been into the occult since I've met you. I was 8 when I met you.
You always had those other stuff that was there, and it did always interest me. We always both had that proclivity to the darker parts of, or the more esoteric parts of life.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm so glad we do this podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's a wonderful time.
Hell yeah.
To get back on point, because I want to finish up this chapter, there was one last section there's one last chapter in this section. It's on the topic of human sacrifice. This is the other one that I told you was going to piss you off.
Oh, God.
So, you're going to start here. I'm going to have Pat read this again. Read this part down here, to that, and to that. And I think, that's it.
Okay. And this is about what? Human sacrifice.
You're gonna love this. If you were mad before, you're about to get really fucking mad.
Yeah, the first line says, "The White Magician."
That's why I started it there.
All right. The White Magician assumes that since blood represents the life force, there is no better way to appease the gods or demons than to present them with suitable quantities of it. Combine this rationale with the fact that a dying creature is expending an overabundance of adrenal and other biochemical energies, and you have what appears to be an unbeatable combination. Wary of the consequences involved in the killing of a human being, naturally utilizes birds or other quote-unquote lower creatures in his ceremonies. Okay. Okay.
Keep going.
Symbolically, the victim is just destroyed. Holy fuck!
Oh wait, actually, that's the only part. We're gonna get into that. So
that's what we're gonna hold off. Like they heard me say that. Like, oh yeah, it's destroyed, not fucking killed. Just no, we're gonna destroy it.
That first section I had you read, that is what he says. This was again, that's what Wiccans believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and after all the research you've done, after all the talking we've done, I have never once in my life ever read anything that said that Wiccans use blood sacrifices.
No, we no.
He even said himself in his own words that these white magicians, quote unquote, they believe that magic should be used solely for good purposes. So if you're killing another life, that's not a good purpose. It doesn't matter if I'm getting frustrated.
That makes me start thinking of like the whole alchemy thing, like the equivalent exchange type thing. Like
yes,
like that seems like where he was starting to lead off to, but it's just like I'm still pissed off when I was 14. Fuck Wiccans.
But see, I feel like this could also be where he slurred some of the other boundaries. Because, like I said, he talked about Aleister Crowley.
Yeah.
Maybe he's talking about the Golden Dawn or the OTO or one of those other magical groups that were kind of big at last century. I think you were saving that. You looked me in the eyes for like 5-10 seconds.
I was just waiting for a gap.
I'm wondering if that's what he's saying, if he's also lumping in some of those other old magical groups from like a century ago and lumping them into the same category again.
That's exactly what it sounds like, because I was actually about to bring up the fact that Wiccans, they do practice magic, but like we've said before, it's just like a form of prayer. We're not sacrificing anything.
Yes.
If anything, if there's only one thing we're fucking sacrificing, it's our time. That's it.
Yes.
Just to put forth something out into the universe, and it's always good. Yes, there is that thing that it is always good. It's never negative. At least it's not supposed to be. But that's where a line is drawn. And if you practice magic, which this will be more developed in the last installment in the witchcraft episode, but there is a fine line between being a Wiccan and a magician. You cannot be both.
Okay.
I mean, essentially, you can be, because I guess if you follow it religiously, that's where you become a Wiccan. When you're just doing magic to do magic, and you're just like doing the witchcraft stuff, that's where you become a magician. So one's a religion, one is just a practice, but that will be touched upon much more in depth later.
Yes.
Good Dutch.
The part that you started to read. Mm-hmm. This goes into how he believes Satanists confront human sacrifice. So, without further ado, the use of human sacrifice in a satanic ritual does not imply that the sacrifice is slaughtered to appease the gods. Symbolically, the victim is destroyed through the working of a hex or curse, which in turn leads to the physical, mental, or emotional destruction of the quote-unquote sacrifice in ways and means not attributable to the magician. The only time a Satanist would perform a human sacrifice, you're going to love this, would be if it were to serve a twofold purpose. That being to release the magician's wrath in the throwing of a curse, and more importantly, to dispose of a totally obnoxious and deserving individual. Under no circumstance would a Satanist sacrifice any animal or baby. I thought that should be put in there, because what he's saying kind of bothers me, but they're not actually sacrificing humans, they're not sacrificing animals, they're not sacrificing babies. So get that thought out of your mind.
Because everything he says is so truthful.
Lastly, the question arises, who then would be considered a fit and proper human sacrifice, and how is one qualified to pass a judgment on such a person? This answer is brutally simple. Anyone who has unjustly wronged you, one who has gone out of his way to hurt you, to deliberately cause trouble and hardship for you or those dear to you. In short, a person asking to be cursed by their very actions.
So you, in that religion, you can literally just be judge, jury, and executioner without a second whim. Like, oh, he scraped my car. Oh, he spat on me. Oh, he fucking tickled my butt. I'm gonna kill you.
Well, the last thing he says on that, to answer your question, you have every right to symbolically destroy them. And if your curse provokes their actual annihilation, rejoice! You have just been instrumental in ridding the world of a pest! Exclamation point.
Is that what happened to him? Just a question.
I mean, it's always possible.
I'm probably pissing off a lot of people.
And that's okay.
Sorry, not sorry.
And that ends the book of Lucifer. That was the biggest section, I'd have to say. That was the hardest section to get through.
The fact that Satanism itself started as a rebellion against Christianity because of God not appealing to the people who were praising them and how hard the church was on them. It became a rebellion, and they went against the church because of their actions. They denounced everything else that was not for Jesus. Now, with that being said, and it still being a rebellion against Christianity, this is so much along the lines of Christianity. He is fucking blurring the lines between what a peaceful religion is and what he thinks a fucking radical religion actually is. He's literally putting the stigma back in to the whole Wicca thing through Satanism, but it all stems from the whole Christianic thing back in the day when they were going against all the pagans. Mm-hmm. It's the same fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And for him to do that, it's just literally I'm sorry, but that to me is just one giant hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I could.
So you would not. I don't think you could even get through that chapter, that whole section.
No. Like, I'm all open to being open-minded and trying to hear people out and see their views, but this, I can't wrap my fucking head around this. From everything that I know.
That I'm explaining.
Yeah, I can't deal with someone like that.
Now, I will say, though, keep in mind that I have just pretty much skimmed what everything I've just said has been a very brief skimming of, what was in the first half of the Satanic Bible. He does go into further detail. Some of the way he words things is not exactly the easiest to read and understand. Like I said, you're going to have to probably read chapters over and over again to be like, oh, that's what he meant.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know.
There's a lot that I just don't agree with. Like, with how he's talking about how the whole white magician and the black magician type thing, like, use that as the subcategory of whatever the fuck you actually need to. But when you break it down and you look into the book a little bit more and he starts talking about how to summon demons and shit, there's a reason why people look at magic a way that they do.
Well, I will say there was another section in here called Hell, the Devil, and How to Sell Your Soul.
Yeah, there you go.
There is nothing in there that tells you how to sell your soul.
No?
At all.
What the fuck is the chapter about then?
You're going to have to read to find out.
Okay.
I'm leaving that up to everything else. But I will say he doesn't give you instructions on how to sell your soul. He doesn't give you instructions to... You know what? I'm just not going to say anything for right now.
Okay.
Because, like I said, that ended the Book of Belial. There are 2 sections left in the Satanic Bible. That was the Book of Lucifer. The 3rd section is the Book of Belial. The 4th section is the Book of Leviathan, which they are. Belial is the earth element, and Leviathan, of course, is the water element. The more I've actually been thinking about this, I was trying to think of how to approach these 2 sections pretty much all day. And honestly, the entire second half of the Satanic Bible all has to deal with magic, ritual, specific witchcraft. So if I can be honest, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna end I want to end the Satanism episode right here, and when we go next month into our episode on witchcraft, I think that's the perfect time to talk about the Satanist view of witchcraft, which to me, a lot of what he said made some sense. It's the second half of this book is a lot different than the last section. Please look me in the eyes, Pat. Please do not judge the book by that last section. It's obnoxious. It's contradictory. It's hypocritical. But the rest of it, there's a lot of sense to be made. I will say that. But you're going to have to find out about that.
I'm taking that with a grain of salt.
Please do. I'm going to say this now. Take everything with a fucking grain of salt. You know, because I guess that's the beauty of me having done the research. I've never considered, at one point or another, I have never once considered myself a Satanist. Mm. But I've always kind of respected it that, you know, everything I've ever heard and read about it, they sound like honest people that are just like, yo, this is just our belief. You do you, I'll do me. LaVey might not have been, but like I said, don't judge books on just a single solitary page.
No, it's just I'm not saying anything against the religion, but the people I've ran into that identify as that are arrogant. I'm not going to name certain people because I'm sure that somebody's listening, but I'm not calling you out. So
I will say, you know, and I don't mean to offend Satanists by saying this, but my general impression after reading this thing for like cover to cover, it seems like a religion for the cynical narcissist.
Yeah.
And the few cynical narcissists I know that are really bad annoy the ever-loving fuck out of me. So, you know, that's just my general feel from it, though. But like I said, you're not going to judge everyone based off of one thing.
A few bad apples and a bunch. I mean, all the apples are bad.
But there you have the facts to at least the first half of the Satanic Bible.
And as you've seen from that and from the first episode, there is really no fucking like tie between Satanism and Wicca.
No, and in fact, Satanism tries to, in his own words, divorce itself from any other magical practice out there.
Oh,
and
but
he likes to name call. He does a lot of name calling. He seems like if he was around today, I think he died in 97, but if he was around today, I feel like he would be that asshole fucking...
He'd be like the Alex Jones of religion.
Yeah, he would be like the fucking... Actually, maybe.
Yeah, see what I say that just because I heard about Alex Jones recently and how he's like banned from YouTube and Twitter and shit.
You know what? I don't think that's honestly true. I think he might just be saying that just to get more fucking hype around him. I have been This has been my philosophy when it comes to specifically Alex Jones and the people of his ilk. I look at whatever, you know, some news. Oh, blah, 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 I'm banned from this, I'm banned from that. All right, whatever. Turn away and ignore it.
Oh, no, I'm just using him as like an example just because he's loud, obnoxious, and no one really likes him.
Well, there are some people that like him.
Fuck him.
They believe.
No, I know.
They believe in the fucking gay frogs, man.
No, I know.
People are turning frogs gay.
I know.
And this is a travesty.
Yeah, this is a conspiracy. We need to fucking figure this shit out.
We need to fight the gay frogs.
Yeah, it's the goddamn white magicians.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Holy Christ. Oh well, I'm really glad that I can finally let all that information out of my fucking head. The past few weeks doing the research into this, like I said, I've been going fucking crazy. Yeah. Having to reread these sections over and over again. Oh, I feel so good. I feel so good and not have to think about it now.
Yeah, I just kept thinking about this day. Just like, how much is this going to piss me off? And like...
I specifically had you read the sections where he's calling out the Wiccans.
Well, I think that I wouldn't be so pissed off if he would at least cite some of his sources, and if maybe if they were fucking verified,
Yes.
good. I mean, I'm not saying that like fucking Gerald Gardner by any means has any more fucking leeway than this, but at least there was something.
Yes, you asked me before I hit record. You asked me like, "Oh, does he have a source page?" And I'm flipping through the front back. I'm like, "Nah."
That's what I'm saying. Angry little kid, angry at religion. I'm gonna change this up. I'm gonna fuck you, mom. Hail Satan. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you go out and get your tongue pierced?
As you stick out your pierced tongue.
I don't have a pierced tongue.
I actually don't. I did.
You did.
And then it fucking destroyed one of my teeth, so
Yeah, I
took it out.
I chipped a tooth with that. I heard.
I didn't chip it. I bit down on it, and it literally, it just hurt one day, and I got an x-ray. There was nothing inside of it. It was an empty shell. There was no cavity. It was just literally a completely hollow tooth.
The fuck?
Yeah, they were just looked at it, and they were just saying the same thing, like, there has to have been some extreme trauma here, and I'm just sitting there like, I have a metal bar in my tongue. That it was definitely that.
Jesus, dude, holy fuck.
Yeah, I took it out and haven't looked back.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that also you got dental insurance, so you can get a fucking implant. No, that's cosmetic. You're gonna have to pay $3,000 for it. What?
Yeah, how the fuck is that not dental? That is dental.
What?
It's teeth. Like, what the fuck, man?
What?
Like, I get the whole cosmetic thing, but like, fuck doctors, dude. They're all assholes. All they do is for fucking money.
Well, as that draws to a close, I guess we have some more stuff to look forward to.
Oh yeah.
Next week, we got our 1-year special. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, do we want to name drop exactly what the special is, or do we want it to be a surprise for them?
I don't know.
Let's make it a surprise.
Yeah, it's a surprise thing with our mics and our voices.
Yes, and voices.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else, but
we might or might not have a special guest. We might not have
confetti.
You might have confetti. Who knows? There might be confetti cake.
Oh, I want a cupcake.
Ah, fuck! I pooped.
Oh God. And then we got some other episodes coming out in the following weeks. Like we said, we release new episodes every Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So hit like, hit subscribe.
Oh,
give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Write a nice review for us.
We also got the reappearance of Jane Doe. Actually,
I didn't know if you wanted to name drop that one yet.
Yeah. We got a story sent in, and we are putting together a little cake, I guess, of horror. 3 stories, one of hers, one of mine, and a creepy pasta.
Because I don't have any more stories. I've already told all my stories.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we got the recent stories, but maybe we'll go into those one day.
Well, I mean, these stories could either be horror stories or real life stories.
Ooh.
Yes. And we're not going to say what they are, because there's always a little fun factor in the mystery department, you know?
Mystery is always great.
Yeah, mystery is what makes things scary. You don't get all the fucking facts. You have to have that little, like, but what if? But what if? Because, everything goes bump in the night, but how hard does it go bump?
Oh, I want it hard.
Mom, Dad, stop it. I can hear you.
Well, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media things.
Yes, Twitter at witches_hill. Facebook in the groups for Witches Hill Horror Talk Show.
And, I think...
Yeah. You can find us on places. And, subscribe, stay tuned, post up your shit, and if you want to send us any of your stuff, like how Jane Doe did, and, like, feature her stories and stuff, send it to witcheshillradio@gmail.com, and we will be in touch.
We're actually in contact with a couple different artists at the moment, too.
Oh, yes. We're
trying to work out some cool stuff to give for you guys, so...
Isn't it in November that we have a,
an interview?
Yeah, okay, cool. We have an interview with a very talented artist.
Oh, I love his work.
Yes.
It looks so fucking badass.
You can find him on Facebook at gutter_witch_art. Gutter Witch Art.
Perfectly up our alley.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're listening to this podcast, it's perfectly up your alley, too.
Don't look at my alley.
Oh, God, I want to get in that alley.
I need help.
Well, from all of us here at Witches Hill Radio,
we bid you adieu.
And see us next time.
Witches Hill.